Hello, third grade, and welcome to reading for today. We're going to continue looking at poems for today. Remember, we've been looking at chapters, stanzas, and poems. This week, we're focusing on poems. Remember that different kinds of text are divided into parts. Books are divided into chapters, plays are divided into scenes, and poems are divided into stanzas. And we looked at that a little bit in our last lesson. We also looked at labels for poems. We can label the lines, stanzas, sometimes they can have rhyming, titles, and who the poet is. Let's go ahead and begin our poem for today called September. As we go through, I would like you to label the parts with me. The first thing we are going to do is grab a yellow highlighting tool and highlight the title. The title of this poem is September. September. Then I want you to grab an orange highlighting tool and highlight the poet. A person that writes a poem is called a poet. Go ahead and write poet right next to the poet. Pause if you need more time. Now, as we're reading through the poem today, I want you to notice these numbers. Sometimes in poems, they list every 5 lines. Let's quickly review what a line is. Grab a green writing tool. A line is just one line of a poem. So this is line number 1. This is line number 2. This is line number 3. This is line number 4. And it labels for us line number 5. Now, we're not going to label all of the lines today, but we are going to label the stanzas. So grab that same green tool. And remember, a stanza is a group of lines. So a stanza is a group of lines. So let's box all of the stanzas and we can count how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and pause the video if you need time to label your stanzas. Now, the new part that we are going to look at today are rhyming words. As we go through, we will be highlighting rhyming words in blue. So get your blue highlighting tool. As we're reading through, you'll follow along with me. Let's go ahead and begin. September by Helen Hunt Jackson. The goldenrod is yellow. The corn is turning brown. The trees in apple orchards. The fruit are bending down. I have 2 rhyming words, brown and down. Stanza 2. The gentian's bluest fringes are curling in the sun. The dusty pods, the milkweed, its hidden silk has spun. Sun and spun. The sedges flaunt their harvest in every meadow nook, and asters by the brookside make asters in the brook. Nook and brook. Stanza 4. From dewy lanes at morning the grape's sweet odor rise. At noon the roads all flutter with golden butterflies. Rise and butterflies. By all these lovely tokens, September days are here, with summer's best of weather and autumn's best of cheer. here, and here. Do you see a pattern with the rhyming words? Poems have patterns using the rhyming words. So this is telling me that every other line is rhyming. Every other line is rhyming. Let's move on to the next page and continue answering questions about this poem. Number 1. What seasonal change does this poem focus on? Is it the change from winter to spring? The change from spring to summer? The change from summer to autumn? The change from autumn to winter? Well, I can use the title to help me out with that. September. What is it changing into September? Is it changing from summer to autumn or autumn to winter? This sentence back here says, with summer's best of weather and autumn's best of cheer. It's talking about from summer to autumn. Put a dot over C. Number 2. What does the poet describe in the first 2 verses of the poem? Now, sometimes poems are part of songs, and they call those verses instead of stanzas. So that's where it's calling these verses. So let's look at these first 2 verses or stanzas and see what they are talking about. The goldenrod is yellow. The corn, okay, I know what that is turning brown. The trees and apple orchards and fruit are bending down. So picture that. Corn turning brown, apples and fruits are bending down, maybe dying. That's using figurative language. Means something different than what it says. The gentian's bluest fringes are curling in the sun. The dusty pods of milkweed is another plant, its hidden silk has spun. So it's saying that all of these fruits are kind of dying down in September. So let's see, what does the poet describe in the first 2 verses of the poem? The way different fruits and vegetables smell in September, the way different flowers and plants look in September, the sounds different animals and birds make. Oh, it's definitely not that one because it didn't talk about animals or birds. The way weather feels in September. It also did not talk about weather. So did it talk about the smell or the look? It talked about the look. They were bending down. That's how they were looking. Number 3. Reading these lines from the poem. By all these lovely tokens, September days are here, with summer's best of weather and autumn's best of cheer. Based on this evidence, how does the poet most likely feel about the month of September? Before we look at any of the options, do you think it's a happy, sad, angry? That'll help us when we're looking at our options. The poet probably does not feel strongly about September. Well, they think it's really cheerful, so I don't think that is an option. The poet probably thinks September is too cold. Well, it said summer's best of weather, so that means summer is hot. So it probably does not think it's cold. The poet probably dislikes September. A word like lovely doesn't really sound like it dislikes it. The poet probably likes September a lot. D has to be the final answer. For your assignment, you'll be completing 4 and 5 on your own. Make sure that you are going back and finding evidence and crossing out your options to help you narrow down your answer. Once you're finished with this, you can move on to your next activity for today.